Hello, my name is Abhigyan, and this is my assignment for 21st century media bodies. And the topic I've chosen is should media be decolonized? So, media is with us as far back as we could remember. Media has been part of our lives since the day one. Without media, there is no news, there is no update of the world, what's happening around us. To stay updated, everybody needs media, and if we are planning to decolonize it, we better do it in the good way. So we are not here to particularly say, to support anything, decolonization or non-decolonization. We are here for a basic argument of what would happen and what would not. Right. So talking from the historical bias, media studies are rooted in Western perspectives, often ignoring or undermining non Western viewpoints. Decolonization would challenge the bias and bring forth diverse narratives, promoting cultural inclusivity. Promoting cultural inclusivity. Decolonization media studies would involve incorporating indigenous and global south perspective, making the discipline more inclusive and reflective of diverse experiences. So decolonizing media studies would involve incorporating indigenous and global south perspective, making the discipline more inclusive and reflective of diverse experience. So if we promote cultural inclusivity, this would make the media more diverse and inclusive and reflect the diverse experience of all the different parts of the world together. This would be a good change. Counteracting cultural imperialism. Media often portrays Western culture as superior, as one as we have seen from the beginning that how overpowered the Western media is, as reflected by the media. So media always try to show the Western media as an overpowered media. Marginalization, local and indigenous practices. Decolonization would help dismantle such nations and provide a balanced representation of cultures, empowering marginalized voices. Decolonizing media studies would enable marginalized communities to reclaim their narratives and share stories on their own terms. So, if somebody marginalized, decolonizing media would enable marginalized studies to reclaim their narratives. So, the bad part of the decolonization of media studies would be loss of established frameworks. Western media theories and frameworks were well established and provide a solid foundation of analyze, right? Discrediting them could lead to fragmented or inconsistent methodologies. Uh, Practical challenges would be implementing decolonization in circular world. Circular would require intensive restructuring, which might not be feasible for all institutions. Global media standards, media are particularly and increasingly globalized, and prioritizing local perspective might limit students' understanding of international media dynamics. Cause a huge problem for students of media or somebody who is studying media or get to know media, because these are the basic points of media. Like, these were the methods introduced by the scholars back from the day. So if we decolonize media, so then understanding of media would be really hard for a particular person. Okay. Practical challenges. Implementing decolonization in circular would require extensive restructuring, which might not be feasible for all institutions. That means, if we are implementing decolonization, that means stopping the circular of media. This would require an extensive restructuring of the entire media framework. That is, understanding the media in a new way, in a new style from the very beginning, without any trace or without any methods. Somebody needs to reconstruct the entire formulation of media. Global media standards. Media practices are increasingly globalized and prioritizing local perspective and might limit students' understanding of international media dynamics. So, if global media standards are put to action, then media practices are increasingly globalized. Media is a global thing, it's all around the world, it's not particularly for a singular place or maybe two places. No, media is for the entire world. So, media practices are increasingly um, globalized. Prioritizing local perspective might limit. So, if somebody is prioritizing just the media of their area, that might limit the particular person or student's understanding of how the international media actually works without knowing the methodology or theories. So, we cannot decolonize media like that. So, if we decolonize media in such a way, then everything would be limited. The access would be granted, but in a very limited way. Yeah. Politicization. Risk of over politicization. Some argue that decolonizing media studies might over politicize the field, shifting focus away from objective analysis and identity of politics. Some people might argue that decolonizing of media uh, might over politicize the field, shifting focus away from objective analysis to identify politics. So, people also argue that if media is decolonized, then there might be two political news in media, like everything is under politics and nothing else, politics, politics, and politics. So, this is one of the arguments, uh, and this might shift the focus away from objective analysis to identity politics. Merit of universal approaches, which inclusivity is essential. Some aspect of Western media studies like cultural theory and digital media analysis and universally applicable and valuable across cultures. Merit in universal approaches, when inclusivity is essential. Some aspects of Western media, like critical theory and digital media analysis, are universally applicable and valuable across cultures. So, these are some essential things which are not forbidden for a particular place. This is for the global reach, and everybody has access to it. Decolonizing media studies is a complex but necessary process to make the field more inclusive and culturally sensitive. However, it also possesses practical challenges and risks losing established academic rigor. Balancing traditional frameworks with diverse perspective can be a way forward. So, this was my um, analysis for decolonizing media studies. In conclusion, I would like to say that uh, in media, today's time, there is always pros and cons in everything. So for media, there are good points if we decolonize media studies, and also there are backdraws if we decolonize media studies. So, this was my argument on the topic decolonization of media.